King Charles III did not linger long at the luncheon put on in his honor, at the second scheduled event of his short Australian visit, and his gift to the gathering was a reminder of the fleeting passage of time. There was a menu fit for a king, and very Sydney: char-grilled asparagus and olive dust, marinated octopus and squid ink wafer, barramundi and duck confit. But the sovereign was gone before the first course. He addressed the gathering at Ns Andritvaru's Parliament House. He offered an hourglass as a present, told lawmakers the sands of time would encourage brevity, and left within 10 minutes of his arrival in the hall, not to be seen again in public until Monday. Earlier, King Charles and Queen Camilla began their day at St. Thomas's Anglican Church in North Sydney. It was technically the third day of their 6-day tour of Australia, but apart from some handshakes on landing on Friday night, it was the public's first chance to see the couple after a rest day on Saturday. The schedule has been designed not to overly tire the king, who is being treated for cancer. Inside the church, the Bishop of North Sydney, Christopher Edwards, asked for world peace while protesters outside held aloft banners saying "Empire built on genocide" and "Decolonize." Hundreds of fans lined the street outside and waved Australian flags. The Australian Monarchist League had pledged to hand out thousands of them. In an unplanned moment, the King and Queen went to greet the crowds, with police scrambling to ensure they were protected. Well-wishers thrust bunches of flowers into the Queen's hands, with the blooms then swiftly whisked away by aides. A supporter tootled on a flute, while chants of "Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land" floated on the spring breeze. The royals' motorcade moved from there to Parliament House, where the king was heralded by trumpets and a voice crying "Hooray!" New South Wales's Legislative Council, the first government formed in Australia, celebrates its bicentenary this year. Charles was given a tour by the Legislative Council's president, Ben Franklin, and the usher of the Black Rod, representing another ancient tradition Australia inherited from the UK. The usher was traditionally from an order of knights called the Most Noble Order of the Garter, and served the monarch in the British House of Lords. The king stopped to admire the Gumbaynggirr Tsiu Bunjalung artist Kim Healy's Yura Jagun, Homeland or Home Country, artwork commissioned for the bicentenary before taking to the stage. Having been with you for your 150th anniversary, I am delighted and proud to be able to return to the Parliament of New South Wales in order to celebrate the occasion of your bicentenary, he said. It is fascinating, I think, to reflect back to 200 years ago, and thinking about those times makes me wonder what that inaugural handful of members of the New South Wales Legislative Council would make of this Parliament today, and of how this great state has progressed. He described how the original council members, King George IV appointed just 5 of them before the council was later expanded, were squeezed into the old government house. From that vantage point, regardless of their optimism, it was no doubt impossible to imagine what is now the vast and vibrant state of New South Wales, which has grown and evolved alongside this legislature. To reflect on the story of this institution and this state is to see the promise and power of representative democracy, he said, adding that democracy had an extraordinary capacity for innovation, compromise, and adaptability, as well as stability.